Hi everyone, greetings from National Skills Network. This is Madhuri and I'm so excited to meet you again today in the series of conversations that we've been hosting with the leadership team members of various skilling and work integrated educational institutions in India. So in the same series today, I'm really happy to talk to one of the leadership members from Indian Institute of Skills, Mumbai. I have with me Ms. Nidhi Goyal, who's the Executive Vice President of Tata Indian Institute of Skills. So welcome to this conversation, Nidhi. I'm really very excited to host this, particular conversation because I think this is the first one where we are going to talk in detail about IIS Mumbai. And there is a lot to learn about these aspirational institutes, as we call them, because I think the objective from the government and the Tata Trust is to take skills to such a high level that all the social stigma that's attached to it, just gradually vanishes. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself, Madhuri. I'm very excited to be, talking to you today. I think we share a common purpose. And yes, so very, very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. So I would like to begin by asking you about this Indian Institute of Skills, which are three of them in the country. So can you take us through the objective behind this particular set of institutions and, what is the agenda or what is the purpose which is making them very different from other institutes of skills at the, let's say, at the state level or at the national level?
Absolutely. So really the genesis of the Indian Institute of Skills, and like you rightly said, we have three in Mumbai, Ahmedabad, and Kanpur. It all originated, I think, from a vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji. In one of his visits to Singapore, where he visited ITE, Singapore, which is known as, a very reputed vocational training center. I think that's where he envisaged this idea that should we not have an IIT, IIM equivalent for skilling? And the whole idea of IIS was born. Invited expression of interest from the industry to set up these world-class skilling institutes, which should be very aspirational for the youth of India. And of course, the late Sri Ratan Tata, God bless his soul, he responded to that and said that this is a nation building initiative and the Tata Group would love to kind of, lead this initiative. And hence Tata Trusts, would set up IIS Mumbai and IIS Ahmedabad. And Tata IIS was then formed with the specific mandate of setting up these two institutes over the next 25 years. Since then, we've kind of, also further refined our focus areas, looking at the national, strategic imperative, saying that, because India has a very clear focus on becoming a global player in the manufacturing sector. And so we said that, why not also align our skilling efforts towards this sector, because the government is already providing a lot of production linked incentives, and this does require a little bit of upfront investment in capex in order to provide a very high quality skilling.
Right.
So, not every livelihoods focused not-for-profit organization can do this, but we could bring, that expertise to the table. And we are looking at sectors such as advanced manufacturing, which essentially covers the entire gamut from automation, robotics, CNC. We're looking at 3D printing. And then electric vehicles as another sector that we are looking at, which is rapidly growing, not just in India, but globally. Electronics being a third one. And then on the services side, we said that let's look at hospitality and tourism, because post-COVID, that has also seen an exponential growth, not just in revenues, but also in demand for skilled manpower. So that's where we are focusing.
Right. Great. So it's very nice to hear this entire vision. And also now that the institute in Mumbai has been formally inaugurated, we would like to know more about the industry 4.0 focus. As I mentioned the word aspirational, I would like to repeat it because there are so many efforts that are required in our country to take skilling to the highest level. Like you mentioned, the vision of Honorable Prime Minister, and also taking it to the level of, let's say, IITs or IISc or any of those, the topmost institutions. How does Industry 4.0 related topics and subjects fit into this scheme of skill development?
So again, given that we are looking, again, the efforts at skilling are guided towards the future, right? So
Yeah,
people who are getting skilled or trained at these institutes today should be
yeah,
ready to serve the industry requirements of the future. Industry 4.0 and increasingly Industry 5.0 is becoming more and more, prevalent across manufacturing sector. And so it is an absolute requirement that as we see digitalization of manufacturing, as we see that, equipments are becoming interconnected, there's a lot of analytics in play to improve efficiencies of manufacturing. That is a core requirement pretty much. I mean, all the um, equipment that we have invested in at IIS Mumbai, also IIS Ahmedabad, is all essentially, Industry 4.0 ready. It can all be connected to each other and replicate the real world scenarios that the industry is deploying today.
yeah. So, in other words, this is about the emerging technologies, latest industry requirements, and also I think it also matches with the global industry standards, right? When it comes to training, and that would set it apart, I assume, from the other type of courses that are being offered, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
See, one aspect of skilling is, of course, to cater to the industry
Right.
requirements.
Yeah.
But then again, like you said, skilling, traditionally in our country, these courses are taken up by people who otherwise do not have access to a wide variety of economic opportunities,
Correct. Yeah.
So again, if we are preparing them, so one of our intents as the Tata Group and Tata Trust is invested, in impact in our society. So when we are skilling them, we want to skill them in areas that will help them earn better, that will help them chart out a long-term career that makes them relevant for the longer run and helps them command a premium in terms of compensation. So all of
Yes.
that means that we have to train in the future technologies and not in what was the
Yes.
past.
Yeah. So in these technologies, what are some of the top industry partnerships that you have to offer the courses which are mentioned? Like I was going through the website, you have courses under 4 or 5 categories, which is mostly into manufacturing, and I think in services, you have hospitality. So what are the industry partnerships that are there for these courses?
Right. I think right from the word go, we were clear that again, in order to make sure that we are relevant to the industry, we need to collaborate deeply and meaningfully with the industry. So, whether it is Tata Group companies or even, global companies that are
Yeah.
leaders in automation, robotics, CNC. So just to give you examples, all our equipment, comes from leading global and domestic players. So
Mm.
when we say CNC, we are talking, leaders like Makino. When we say robotics, we've partnered with Fanuc, with ABB. We're talking about welding technologies. So we have partnerships with Cronius and Lincoln. We're talking automation, of course, so there is Festo and SMC, Schneider, Siemens, again, all leading players and
Yeah.
names, in these technologies. As we start looking at electric vehicles, there's of course Tata Motors, which is a leading player in the four-wheeler segment. For the two-wheeler, three-wheeler space, we partnered with Ather Energy. It's a so both are domestic players, but both are known for their focus on
Mm.
technology, on quality. So these are just some of the collaborations that we have. If we talk about hospitality, of course, there's the Taj Group that has been,
Right.
an infra and a curriculum partner for us. But equally, we are getting support from all the leading brands, whether it is an ITC or a Hyatt or a Novotel. So they're all strong collaborators, and it is our intent to ensure that we look at things from an industry perspective rather than from a very inward looking
Yeah.
perspective.
So it would also be nice to know a little more about this partnership. Thanks for mentioning all these companies under various verticals. So what does this engagement actually, result in? Is it like the curriculum, the teaching methodology, or the infrastructure, the practical training, which is so important, the labs? So how does this work? How does it get executed, I mean?
So we look at things holistically. It's
Hmm.
not in silos that we're looking at things. So of course, we have tied up with these, OEMs in terms of their equipment.
Yeah.
And so we ensure that these are the equipment that are present in our labs. I think I missed out mentioning 3D printing, where we have
Yeah.
equipment from Philips and Form Labs, and so I think there's just so much
Yeah.
that's happening here. We
Yeah.
have didactic kits from Lucas Newlay, which is a leading German training thing. So there, as we collaborated with them on identifying what is the right equipment to train our trainees on in a hands-on manner. The other thing that we've done is collaborated deeply on the curriculum as
Okay.
well. Because in terms of technology for each domain, there's just so much action in the market that it is very difficult for a generic player to know the latest developments in each field. So it's best that we collaborate with the leading players and ask them for what is the most relevant content, what is most in demand and being used by their customers, because
Right.
that is where our trainees will likely add value once they join the industry.
Yeah.
So both on equipment, curriculum development, on even placements and recruitments, we have deep partnerships with them. I think where we bring a unique skill is our ability to assess and draw insights on how to train this segment. Because we have been running experiments for the last 2.5 years, working with people from various across the country, coming from various economic and academic backgrounds. And I think our trainers bring that specialized inputs on how is it that we can simplify complex topics and deliver it in a manner that trainees can comprehend. All our trainers come with extensive industry experience on the shop floor, so they are able to recreate manufacturing industry scenarios in the classroom and then explain things to the trainees. Our theoretical, sessions are very few. Actually, 70% plus is hands-on. So
Okay.
trainees mostly are with the equipment and learning alongside the equipment, even theoretical concepts, we try to teach them in that way, so that if they don't understand something, they just turn around, look at the equipment, get a better understanding of what is being taught,
Yeah.
and then they're back in the class.
So I think that's also the ideal situation, right? Where we have 70-30 in terms of theory and practice. So I think the students who are going through these programs get the best of most of the things, which is, in terms of the trainer, the kind of equipment and all. But now I would also like to know the kind of courses, the programs that you have. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about the entry level. Is it like meant for the students who have already done a basic level program, or what is the entry point and what are the programs?
Sure, I'll be happy to do that. So as we launched phase one, we started out with 6 courses. And each of these 6 courses, so we tried to cater to people coming from different academic backgrounds. And as I talk through it, you will probably appreciate that a little bit. So the 6 courses, 4 are more aligned to advanced manufacturing, 2 are aligned to electric vehicles. And in terms of qualification, so let's say, for people who have completed their ITI qualification, we have a course in advanced arc welding techniques, where our focus, so the entry qualification is having completed welding from an ITI. And our focus is, while we make sure we brush up their manual welding skills, we actually focus on the robotic welding aspect,
Okay.
which especially in the automobile industry is
Yeah.
becoming such a key component. Similarly, for EV, the 2-3-wheeler technician course is geared more towards people coming from an ITI background. Again, if I look at people coming from polytechnics, diploma engineering, we have 2 courses. One is on the fundamentals of industrial automation, and the other is on additive manufacturing or 3D printing. So these are open to people with diploma engineering. Then finally, for graduate engineers, a lot of them come from small towns, lesser known colleges, and may not have had the same exposure, even as they did pursue a degree in engineering, we have two courses on offer. One is on advanced automation and robotics, where,
Okay.
it further from the automation fundamentals, and we focus on things like, robotics programming and operations, CNC programming operations, modular production systems. So those are things that we are looking at. And then for EV battery specialists, where we look at, right from how to assemble a battery, understanding the charging protocols, understanding the CAN communication protocols, etc. All of that is covered in these courses. So these are the courses that we have launched with right
Okay.
now.
So it is good to know that all these courses are catering to emerging technologies, and a lot of training happens hands-on, which is taking care of the technical aspects. And the students, I'm sure, will get a lot of exposure to technical training. But as we know today, in any job, more than technical training, it is what we call as soft skills or 21st century skills or transferable skills, which is very important. So how are you ensuring that the students get a holistic kind of education, I would say, through these courses?
Thank you so much for asking that, Madhuri, because we take pride in the fact that we have tried not to keep this a very myopic, curriculum structure. Completely agree with you that 21st century skills are so critical to career growth and advancement in any sector that we pick up. So we have consciously integrated, the development of these skills into our curriculum across all courses. The other thing that we've realized is that what a lot of people do in 21st century skills is give it in a capsule format. So, if you are a part of a 4-year course, suddenly for a month, you get 21st century skills. If you're part of a 3-month course, for a week, maybe you'll get those skills. But we were very clear that these skills require people to work on them on a daily basis. And so in our coursework, what we have ensured is that every day, 60 to 90 minutes are set aside for a focus on these skills on communication, critical thinking, collaboration amongst each other, observation, problem solving. We have in fact collaborated with the Bosch Rexroth. They are actually helping us deliver key components of problem solving, of quality aspects, which in a manufacturing context also become foundational skills in addition to the, communication, creativity, collaboration. And we ensure that we have a team of in-house trainers. We tap into external expert available in the country to deliver these skills. So absolutely looking at a holistic, development for our trainees.
So this is really going to make it complete and wholesome for them. And that's really nice to know that it is so very well integrated that it doesn't become like a finishing school type of a program, right? Which you mentioned, which gets added for a few weeks or a month. Okay, so is there a like an entrance test or an exam? How do they take up these programs?
And in order to make sure that people are able to learn well in the class in 3 months, we want to make sure that they have some basic understanding and knowledge of the concepts for the course that they're applying for. So we run a simple online test that has questions both on aptitude as well as technical knowledge. You can take it from the comfort of your home. The questions, there are multiple question sets. So, no two people get like the exact same question paper. And that's how we run the admission process. So once you register on our website, you get an email with a link to the exam, you take the test, and then shortly afterwards, you'll get an email telling you whether you have qualified or not. And from there on, you can take up the next steps for admission.
Okay, so there is a what is the duration and what is the frequency of these programs? Because whoever's watching this conversation, I'm sure they would like to know a few things regarding when do the admissions open, or how many times does the admission process happen? So maybe you can share a few more technical details also. Yeah.
Sure. So I think the best place to get all this information is our website. So start with tataiis.org. That's TATAIIS.org. From there, depending on which location you prefer, you can go to the IIS Mumbai.org website, or you can go to iisahmedabad.org. The courses are the same on both campuses. The fees, the duration, everything is similar. the experience of training is also very similar. So that is where, you will get all the information for registration, duration. The next batch is scheduled to begin in December. Every 3 months, essentially, is when we are planning to run a batch. And the exact dates are communicated via the website.
Okay. We'll also share the URL in the description of this video on YouTube and also on our website so that it helps them to visit the website. Is this a residential program or
So given, the convenience of the trainees, what we have realized is that we did get a lot of applications from people who are not from Ahmedabad or Mumbai.
yeah.
And we do not mandate them to stay in an accommodation provided by us, because again, people may have relatives and they can save their money on, accommodation. But yes, for people coming from outside, it's also not always easy to find their own accommodation. So we've tied up with
Oh.
local paying guest providers. And should a trainee seek accommodation support, we can make it available on a cost to cost basis. Whatever we get charged by the PG, we just, pass it on as is to the trainees. We also additionally provide transportation support to the trainees to make sure they are able to reach the campus. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, for local residents, it's not mandatory to stay in our PG.
Because I think institutes like this will attract students from all over the country, and I'm sure they would like to, explore what course they can do. So that's the reason I wanted to know this. So getting so many details about it, about the program has been so beneficial for all of us and our audience. One last thing I would like to know is, what is the vision? Are you going to add more courses, or when can we expect these things to happen, in future?
Yeah, I'll just say you have to keep just watching our website
Okay.
for more information. There is a lot of action happening in the background. We are talking to Universal Robots on courses in cobotics, etc. So there's constantly, work that is being done. Right now, while we are focusing on, fresh graduates, and when I say fresh graduates, those are people who have graduated this year or up to 3 years prior. We are also actively working on courses for upskilling of both people coming from colleges as well as industry employees.
Right.
So yes, there will be a lot more courses on offer, but we'll continue to communicate through our social media handles and through our
Sure.
website.
Yeah, and when we talk about skilling, we can't avoid talking about placement. So I think I'm really curious to know what would be the plan for placement. Are they going to get, into these industries that are partners? Is there a chance for them to get employed there, or what is the vision for placement?
No, absolutely. I agree with you. If we are providing skilling, again, like most other, and I have been in the higher education setup for some time now. A lot of other academic courses are not necessarily for employment alone.
Right.
There, your objective could be to just acquire knowledge and, follow a passion.
Yeah.
In the case of skilling, the end objective is always, getting a
Yes.
job.
Yes.
That said, I do always tell our trainees that our core objective is to provide very high quality skilling. So I do not want people coming in with a mindset that placements is guaranteed. They need to put in a lot of hard work as well to ensure that they are learning, like, because we have put in so much effort to getting the right equipment, the trainers, the effort every day in the classroom. But if the trainee does not put in a commensurate level of learning effort, we cannot guarantee placements.
Right.
But yes, for anybody who has actually ensured they're meeting all the attendance requirements, they're actually participating in the classrooms, we are actively ensuring that they all get, placed as per their course schedule. So we have tie-ups with a lot of companies, again, through the network of both the Tata Group and otherwise the OEM partners that we have. We're reaching out to multiple large and small companies to make sure that our trainees get placed,
so what would be your advice? We would also like to hear from you, your advice for young students, who are very keen on getting into these technologies and getting into a very technical kind of a training program, and want to build a future in that, and, really take it forward from there.
Actually, yeah. I think that's a lot of mixed thoughts that are coming up. But I think if there are one or two things that I would like to say to the people coming into the industry, especially to youngsters as they join the workforce, one thing I totally admire about them is their confidence and clarity of thought in terms of, what is it they want to do and what is it that they absolutely don't want to do in life. And I think they should retain that. That
Right.
is something that is their strength. They should retain that. Equally, I do think there is a lot of merit in being humble, in being hardworking. There is no substitute to hard work, no matter how smart one is. Putting in some hard work is what will truly help you grow, especially in the early years. And in those years, but even throughout your life, having the humility to say, I do not really know everything. And so I can learn something from every interaction. Even though I may be an expert in a technology, I can still learn something. So going in with that mindset, I think will really help them in their long-term careers.
Yeah, I think these are really motivational and inspirational words that we would like to close this conversation with. So, thank you so much for sharing the story behind IIS Mumbai and Ahmedabad, and also the vision you have and the programs and the information regarding the programs. Thank you. We look forward to be in touch with you.
Thank you so much, Madhuri. Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.